Okay, so we come to the question of receiving messages better for yourself. Okay. Well, we have many things to say on this, so we need to keep ourselves in line. Okay, so first of all, so what we would like to say first of all is this, that you see, people are open to messages all the time. People receive messages all the time. What happens is they don't listen to them. They discount them, or they deny that they hear them. So, you see, human beings come with many different ways of accepting what you will call messages. You see, many people understand that they have in their life different ways of knowing what life is trying to show them. So for some, for example, they will receive visual messages. So they will see what people have come to call signs. And they will call these signs and they will interpret them in different ways and allow that to speak to them to create change in the way that they wish to create, or understanding and awareness in the way that they wish to create. So they will have the visual signs that their life is bringing to them, and they will accept this if they are awakened to them. Other people will have what they call intuition, another name instinct, where, for example, their gut, they will call it, will just say to them, this is right, this is wrong, this feels good, this doesn't feel good, I'm doing this, I'm not doing that. And they will, if they are awakened to it, allow that to shepherd them in certain directions and create the changes that they want to create, or to acquire the knowledge and understanding and awareness that they wish to have. Other people still will have messages from their soul, which they hear in their head. They will hear words, or they will have instinctive understanding of complete words and phrases and knowledge and messages, as you wish to call them, that they can interpret and act upon for awareness and understanding as they move through their life. And then other people will tune into what has become called spirit. We can discuss it another time. And they will get, as Angela is doing now, this channeled message of a vibration to support and understand where someone is at in their life right now. So, you see, there are many different ways that messages can arrive in your life. And what they all point to is this. They all point to the awareness and understanding that on some level you believe that there is a greater experience than the one you're currently living in. Think about that. What they all point to is the awareness of, and that's what we're talking about. To accept a message of any kind points to a belief in and an awareness of an experience greater than that which you are currently living. So some have called it God, some have called it universe, some have called it source, some have called it light, some have called it love, some have called it spirit, some have called it whatever you wish to call it, it have probably been called. So what we wish to say is this, that because you have an awareness, by the very fact that you are wanting messages, you have an awareness of this experience greater than the one that you are currently living. So because you are asking for messages, you will receive. There is no doubt in this. There can be no, I won't receive it. I can guarantee to you that if you ask for the message will be given. This is how it works. The question is not, will the message be given? The question is, will you receive it? So this is what we say in the first part of this question. That to receive a message for yourself, first of all, you have to understand that you are open to an experience greater than that which you are currently living. So don't worry what form that message takes. Be more concerned with your ability to receive the message. So if you are someone who at this current point in their time, in their existence, is open to messages of a visual sign kind of message, enjoy it. Ask for signs, see the signs, follow the signs, because what you're actually tapping into is your truth, your awareness of an experience greater than that which you are currently living. Whether you see the sign saying, come this way, don't go that way, do this, don't do that, the sign that you see, the visual sign that you are tapping into, is actually the truth within you. Same as when you sit and you meditate as you have asked, and you get messages in your mind from your soul that are indications of what possibly to do or not to do, or even just awarenesses that you have for greater knowledge and wisdom in your life. So these are the same messages as the signs that you see. You're tapping into the truth that you are aware of an experience greater than that which you are currently living. Same thing. It's the truth. It's the same truth. So it's the same as when you sit and listen to this message as spoken by us, channeled through Angela, received into your ears. It's a willingness to accept and receive the message. But it's the same truth. You see, our words hit you on a truth, on an experiential level, on a vibrational level, that experience as truth. So everything that you're asking, how do I receive messages more readily for myself? We would say, if we're going to be very practical about this, let's get practical for a moment. One, understand where you're at. Where are you ready for receiving these messages? Are you able to believe and accept in signs? Then ask for signs. You know, we don't really care. The universe, the source, the truth, whatever you call it, doesn't really care how you receive your message. We just care that you are asking, that you have this experience, that you have this awareness of this experience that is greater than you are. That's the important part, not how you receive the message. So if that's where you're at, that you have a belief, a ready belief in signs that is unquestioning, ask for signs. Ask for signs and accept them, because this is the truth no matter what. If you are able to sit and meditate, then we would say, okay, sit and meditate if you're going to get that soul speaking into your mind, speaking its truth into your head. That's where you're at, and you can do that. Go, do that. Accept the message. If you can ask through a channel such as this and accept the truth that is coming to you, then do that. If you want to channel yourself, there is a very different criteria, let's call it that. So we're not going to address that in this message today. That could be another day. Your question was specific. In these modern times, I like that. In these modern times, how do we get the messages quicker? We say receive them more readily. That's it. Because the messages are there. If you ask, they are given. It's done. So the question isn't, where is the message? The question comes back to the receiver. Why aren't you receiving? That's where you have to start, and that's where you have to go. Not where is the message, because the message is there. Why aren't you receiving? That's where you have to go. So for the person asking this specific question, we will say, you have a lot of desire to understand the nature of this experience that is greater than the one you are currently living. You have a lot of desire to understand it, to experience it, but to understand it. So, first of all, we would say, what you have to do is appreciate that there is for you some difficulty in aligning the character that you are with this quest for understanding. Some, not completely, but there is some. That's the first block to receiving. Yes? You need to eliminate that block in order to receive, because there can be no barriers here. There can be no resistance here. If you are desiring deeper understanding of an experience that is greater than the one that you're currently living, you have to accept it, and as I said before, own it. That's the nature of the beast. Let's call it that. You have to sit in that space of saying, this is where I'm at in my life, this is who I am in my life, and this is my quest. Okay, so there we can move on. One barrier down. Second, okay, so then we can start looking at, okay, my preferred method of receiving is this. Now, if I am resistant to that method, that's another question to ask. Why? If I wish to receive messages in a different format, then I have to broaden my perspective of what this experience, greater than the one I am currently living in, really is. Now let's sit there for a moment. You see, for many people, understanding that the life they are living is but a fraction of the experience that there really is challenging. For many people, it's confusing, and for others, it is hopeful. So, what's the difference in the perspective of the way that truth is interpreted? The difference is where you're at within yourself, who you are, what you are, and where you're living, how you're living. So, for the person asking this question, if you are wanting to receive your messages quicker, drop the barriers quicker, be completely in tune with the oneness of the experience greater than that which you are living. Divisions between the life I'm living and the experience that there is in totality have to be reduced. That's not easy for many people. That's not easy for many people. You see, life can be very let's get the right word. Very factual. Life can be very factual. Let's put that word, I like that. Life can be very factual. I am here, I'm doing this is me, this is my world, this is my existence, and I am here. Well, you see, the experience of the totality of everything that is, which is greater than the life you, is the exact opposite. You are not you. You are not here. You're not living your life. You're not doing these things. Now, that's so difficult for so many people because, of course, you are. Of course, you are. You are you, doing you, being you. Here you are. But you're not. So, how do we remove the barriers between those two seemingly contradictory truths? Well, this is the very nature of how we receive messages more quickly. You have to feel as though the life you are living, the life you are being, is strong enough and yet open enough to be without the walls of your existence. Let's put it this way, because this is a important question, but it's also a challenging one for us to put into specific words because it's experiential in many ways. So, let's see. When you think of yourself as a being that exists, you have a body that is real. You have skin, you have the outline, the form that we can all see. As the person that's asked this question, we could see it. But now imagine that person without the form of that skin, being completely open in energy and essence. Now we have something very different. Now we have something no less real, but far less defined, far less tangible in physical terms, and yet far more experiential. That is the essence of what it is to receive messages quicker. Because the defining of the body, the person, the being that you are, creates in itself the barriers to the messages, as you call them. You have become distinguishable from the connectivity of all things, which is the experience, by the way, of everything that is more than the life you're living. So you have now become, just by being, you have become distinguishable from that which is. So how do we create less resistance between that which is? Because that's how we receive more messages, more freely. Well, The first is to acknowledge that whilst you may be who you are in this lifetime, you are not actually who you are in this lifetime. Another way of understanding it is to say that inasmuch as my body is a collection of parts and pieces, cells and organisms that are cohabiting in this space, this is the same as the universe, the life of everything. So I am not going to stop defining myself as the being that I am, because that would be ridiculous. But at the same time, I have to recognize that my being is by its very nature distinguishing me from everything that is. As your brain starts to allow you to feel, and it's all feeling, the truth of this, you will find yourself more and more and more at one with all that is, and then you receive all the messages, as you call them, quicker and quicker and quicker. So meditation has been a tried and trusted way of doing this, because in that meditative space is when you lower the resistance of the beingness of you to the acceptance of the oneness of all. Can you achieve that without taking time out to meditate? Of course you can. But we're not going to say that it's easy for mankind to do, and we're not going to say that it will happen straight away. There is a reason that spiritual practices that have built up for so long in so many different cultural ways all do the same thing. Give you the space to stop being so aware of the beingness of you, so that you can occupy the feelingness of all. If you can find a way to achieve that, it doesn't matter how. That in that space is how you will receive the messages, because it's all there. Everything that you are wanting to know, everything that you are here to experience is all there all the time. In the lowering of the beingness of you, you will open yourself up to the experience of the knowledge of all. Meditation maintains its place at this time because it gives people that space out of being who they are and allows them to feel all that is. Is there going to be, in the future, as we move forward from these times, other ways to feel? Of course. There always is. Of course. One way we would give you all listening to this now is every time that you are in a space of nothing. So whether you are in a field, whether you are in an ocean, whether you are in a pool, whether you are in an empty room, just recognize that there is within that nothingness already a feeling that you have. Now this might seem insignificant, but actually it's quite important. The feeling that you have, that place of nothingness is actually full of feeling, shows you every moment or every day where you could be in your feeling status. Being who you are, doing what you do, creating that which you have come to create, feeling the existence of all. It's not impossible to have those all working together at the same time. You don't have to become split personality, destroying of the mind. You don't have to. For some, it becomes this huge thing once they have experienced to maintain a life. But we would say that mankind is moving forward, and these kinds of awarenesses will become normal. They truly will, in time. So, first thing to be aware of what you call messages is to sit in the feelingness of all things and say, where there is nothing, there is already all this feeling. Okay, this I can take in. This I can take into me. I don't lose me. I'm not lost. I'm absorbed in all of this. This is all absorbed within me. Much love. Much love.